without further ado, let us continue the chips and having our mind blown by Pam with the questions she's going to make us ask ourselves with her, what will surely be an incredible talk on the theme of home. So let's go, Pam.
Thank you. Well, thank you all for being here. And can everyone hear me okay? Fine? Cool.
Loud and clear.
Thanks. I've been a longtime Creative Mornings fan. So I'm really honored to have been asked to speak and really honored to get to be the speaker for Christy's first time as host. I've gotten to know Christy and she's wonderful, and I'm excited for all of you to get to know her better as your new host. She's going to do great. So I was asked to speak on home. Well, I guess I should introduce myself first. So let me back up. So my name is Pam. I live in Nashville. I am an artist. So Christy showed that I've got a show coming up at Red Arrow. I weave tapestries, and I have been doing that for I guess the last like 7 or 8 years. And I just taught myself on YouTube, and I really love it. And I'll have a show not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow. So I'd love for everyone to come out and say hi in person. I'm also an art curator, and I run a gallery called Stay Home Gallery that I'm going to be talking about some today. So I was asked to speak on home, and I was super excited because I've loved Creative Mornings for a long time, but I also felt like that was such a hard topic to speak on because almost all of you presumably have been at home for the last year and a half. And you have all become experts on being at home. And I wasn't sure what I could offer. You're all probably, most of you, at home right now. And so I felt like that was a really difficult topic to be an expert on, because all of you are experts, talking to lots of experts on being at home. But I'm really excited to talk about home because it is one of my favorite things, and I've had a lot of events having to do with home lately. So that's what we're going to talk about. So I've broken my talk into 3 parts today. So the first part is going to be called Stay Home, and the second part is called Stay Home Gallery, and the third part is called Home Gallery. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So my journey begins, as many of ours did, on March 12th of 2020, when my partner Marcus and I went to the grocery store and we got a bunch of groceries and emergency supplies, and we refilled our prescriptions, and we emotionally prepared ourselves to quarantine for 2 weeks. We were ready to do that. We were scared, but ready for our 2-week quarantine. And then 397 days later, we left our homes for the first time. And so that's not a unique story, but that is where the first part of this talk begins: stay home. That's a term everyone is probably super familiar with and really sick of talking about. But pretty early on in our quarantine, we realized that we were going to be in this for a while, and that it wasn't going to be 2 weeks. And if we were going to isolate ourselves from our friends and our family and grocery stores and the sun, we wanted to do it with some sort of intention. And so we developed a mission statement for our quarantine. I am a big believer in creating mission statements. Sometimes my mission statement is a paragraph or a sentence or an image or a word, that I really love to pick an intention for the things I'm doing and kind of let that guide my choices, especially when it's uncharted territory, like staying home for a year and a half. Speaking of home, I just bought a home in Nashville. That's where I am right now. And I wanted to do like a quick shout out. I know that he's one of the sponsors, but Jacob Jones was our realtor for buying a home. And as soon as we came out of that 397 days, we started looking for a house. And if you are a creative with weird income, and if you're also like a very type A obsessive person, Jacob is amazing, and I could not have bought a house without him. So sorry, quick aside for Jacob, but we were buying a house this year, and that is a really intense and scary process, and it's a really big decision. And so, like for most of the decisions in my life, I developed a mission statement, but it was actually more of an image. So when I was house hunting, this was my mission statement. It's just an egg, but it's a brown speckled egg, and this was our mission statement for looking for a house. So just stick with me. I'll tell you why. It is a very like minimal and simple design, which is what we wanted. We wanted very clean and minimal lines, but it's also got these like brown speckles, and so it's organic and natural and unique. But an egg is also like a safe space, and it's like an incubator and holds you inside. So these are all the things we were looking for in our house. We wanted, clean and minimal, but also kind of unique and natural. But we wanted to create this like safe space so that when we eventually could have friends over, they could come and feel safe and cozy in our egg house. So that was our mission statement for buying a house. And when we found this one, it really, it fit all of the things we were looking for in our mission. So like I said, early on in our quarantine, we decided to develop a mission to set an intention for our time of isolation. So our mission statement for our quarantine was follow your whims. This very cutie design Christy did, and it is available in stickers. So there are stickers of this that will be at my art show and at all the locations. She's holding one up now that they are normally at, so I'll let her tell you about that later. But this was our mission statement. We wanted to follow our whims during our time of isolation. So let me explain what I mean by whim, because I think that's a phrase that you've probably heard, and I want to explain exactly what it meant to us. So what we defined as a whim was something that excited your heart, but also made no sense. And this part's really important. So exciting your heart, maybe something that kept you up at night because you were thinking about it in a good way. Or something that made your heart beat a little faster when you thought of this idea, something that made you smile, but something that makes no sense. Maybe it doesn't make any sense in your resume, like it doesn't match anything that your career path has been. Maybe there's no clear way that it could like make you any money. It's just something that doesn't really have a good reason why you should do it, but it excites your heart. Those two things together are what I define as a whim. And I made a rule for myself in 2020 that if I had a whim, I was going to follow it. So some examples of whims that we followed. My partner Marcus got really into watching like hours of YouTube videos of people fixing up like 80s vintage Casio watches. And he started ordering all these watches from eBay for like 2 cents that were just like completely busted. And then he would just spend hours like tinkering and make them beautiful and look like brand new again. I had a brief whim that I got really into Legos for like a week, and I had never played with Legos growing up, and I just like got so into it, and I just like followed it blindly because it didn't make any sense. But it was making me really excited, and it was so much fun to just like be consumed by building Legos. Um, Around the holidays, I got really into collecting Christmas tree ornaments that were made by artists that I knew. And then I started an Instagram page for my ornament collection called Ornament Museum. And I claim to be the first contemporary art ornament museum in the world, which I have no idea if that's true, but I got really into collecting them and I'm still really into it. I also had a brief, not brief, it's actually still happening. I had a detour where I got really into studying death, and I registered in grad school to start getting a degree in the study of death and dying. And we just can't tell you the new hobbies that we picked up over the last year. We just got really, really into following whims and not looking back. So I've been building this muscle for the last year and a half of listening to what makes me excited and happy. And it's become a real like daily life practice. So pretty much any decision I make now, I check if it matches my mission. And if it does, then I do that thing. And if it doesn't match my mission, I check if it's a whim. And if it's a whim, then I really try to follow it if it's possible. So for instance, this house that we bought, it really fit the mission of being like the egg. But then I really wanted to paint the inside of it mostly pink, which didn't really fit the mission of the egg, but it did feel like a whim, and it made me really excited. I didn't really have a good reason to paint it pink, but it made me feel really happy, and so I did it. And so that one didn't go very far, actually. So it's become a real practice in my daily life that has brought me a lot of little pockets of joy. So this brings me to part 2 of our talk today, which is Stay Home Gallery. So in that first week of quarantine, I got a call from a girl that I didn't know very well. She's another artist and curator, and her name is Kaylin, and she runs the Artist Mother podcast. If you are a parent, I highly suggest it. If you're not a parent, it's still like an amazing podcast. But I got a call from her, and she said, hey, you know, I'm staying home, you're staying home, we're both curators. What if we started curating virtual exhibitions of other artists that are also staying home so that we can still show their art even though we're not going out to see art? And I said, no, what an awful idea. I'm so scared. I have no capacity for creativity. I think I've just lost my job. Like there's no reason that we should do this. But as we continued to talk about it, I started to get more excited about it and started to think of, you know, the fonts and the colors we could use and the artists that we could select. And then we thought of the name Stay Home Gallery, and I just thought that was really cute. And then we checked if there was an Instagram for it, and there wasn't. So we got the Instagram, and then I was like, are we doing this? Is this happening? And so we said, yes, let's go ahead. Let's curate shows for the next 2 weeks only while we're in quarantine, and let's exhibit some art from other artists that are creating while they're at home. So that first week, we curated a show called Distancing With. And it was exploring who you were at home with. So we were all social distancing, but were you with your partner or your family or your cat or no one? And this show explored the idea of who you were distancing with. And then that one show turned into weeks and weeks and weeks of shows because, like we all know, it lasted a lot longer than we were expecting. And a few months into doing this together, I got another call from Kaylin, and she said, hey, as you know, I live in Paris, Tennessee, which is about 2 hours from Nashville. And I have this home that my family and I have been working on for years. And, we built this big art studio, and we have these gardens and these chickens, and we are moving, and I really don't want to sell my home. And at this point, I had gotten pretty good at my mission of following my whims and listening to that like extra fast heartbeat of excitement. And so she says, I don't want to sell my home. I want to do something with it. What would you think about expanding Stay Home Gallery from just this Instagram page to being a artist residency and art gallery? And I was really excited about that idea, but it also made no sense to either of us. I was unemployed. She should sell her house in this market. It's a great market to sell your house in right now. And because of those things, we decided, let's really do this. Let's follow this excitement and try it out. And so we opened Stay Home Gallery and Artist Residency in July of 2020. If you aren't familiar with what an artist residency is, I'm going to tell you. What we did is we turned the entire home into an art gallery. So here's some photos of it. Every room, the dining room, the living room, the bedrooms, even the bathroom. At one point, we had this amazing art installation in it. And what we have done is, rather than just showing art on Instagram like the original plan was, we are bringing it into the home from artists from around the world and asking other artists to come and stay in the home. So what the artist residency part is that artists come for 1 week at a time, and they live in the art gallery for a week, and then they create their own art in the studio. And so we had our first artist in residence July of 2020, and we are now booked out through December of 2022. So we had no idea if this would work, and no idea if anyone would want to come stay, if people would want to show their art in this home. But it went really, really well. And we've been blessed with this like amazing community that has changed the course of my life because of the new people that I've gotten to work with and experience and become friends with. And there's been so much that's happened since that first phone call. So, we started with this idea that we would do an Instagram for a few weeks of just showing other people's art, see if anyone was interested in it. And since then, we have done a ton of virtual shows, a good handful of physical shows. We've had over 50 artists in residence since that first week. We've published a book. We've started representing artists, and we've started teaching classes in art curation. And the important part, though, of this is that every choice we've made in this project has been for fun. Everything we've done has been done because it was exciting to us and fun, and we just wanted to do it. And I really think that that's where like the best stuff in life comes from, is the things that you have no expectations for. And I know I've just shared like a success story of how something really fun turned into something way bigger than I could have ever imagined or expected. But I'm just as happy that I said yes to that phone call as I am that I took a week to just build Legos. And even though those Legos did not turn into, I did not become like a professional Lego builder, that was what I needed that week to feel joy during a really dark time. And this project has also provided joy during dark times. And so, like I said, part of what we do at Stay Home Gallery now is that we actually teach classes in curation, and for emerging art curators, people that maybe had an idea that they'd like to curate an art show one day. And so we've been teaching these classes, and something that I talk about in these classes is to follow your whims. And so I always tell the curators that, if you have an idea for some kind of creative project, you could have like the best idea in the world, the idea that makes the most sense, that on paper you're like, this is the best idea that anyone's ever had for a creative project. But if you're not excited about it, it will be so daunting to do, and other people are also not going to be excited about it. But if you have an idea that makes like no sense and is really maybe weird, and there's really no reason that you should do this creative project, but you're excited about it, other people are going to feel that excitement. And so I really encourage all of my curatorial students to follow what makes them really excited rather than what seems like a really good idea. So that brings me to part 3 of our talk today, which is called Home Gallery. And I want to show just a couple examples of ways that some of the curation students and other artists that we've worked with at Stay Home Gallery have followed their whims and used their physical homes for creative projects. So a lot of these were things started during their quarantine that can continue beyond it, but work in it as well. So my first example is this really lovely London apartment. I'll show you this up close. So this is the apartment of a curator in London. Her name is Kitty Dinshaw, and she co-runs Art Girl Rising. And after taking the curation class and spending a lot of time talking about what makes you excited, even if it doesn't make a lot of sense, she opened up that she has wanted to turn a room of her apartment into an art gallery. And so that's what she did here. And she invited people in London to come and see art from around the world from some of her favorite artists, even though, she had that nagging voice of like, who's going to want to come to my apartment to see art when you could see art in all these other places? But people loved it. It was amazing. She had people come and sit and drink tea and discuss the work and get to know her and build relationships and friendships. And so she turned a room of her apartment into an art gallery. Literally anyone could do this. You could do this. I've seen rooms in people's houses become art galleries. I've seen the front of people's fridges become art galleries. I've seen just one shelf in your house be like a little gallery. You could do this too. Another example is another curation student I had named Molly Evans, and she put a flagpole up in her front yard and opened, or is opening next month actually, Flagpole Gallery in St. Pete, Florida. And what she's doing is she's asking artists to create art on flags, and she's going to fly it in her neighborhood. And this idea came from wanting to connect with her neighbors, but not being able to during quarantine. and wanting to spark conversations once she was out. So she wanted people to come and ask her what the flags were about, and she could discuss the meaning of the word. Another example, a group of artists that I worked with Stay Home Gallery, they started a sketchbook swap. So they didn't want to go out to art stores during quarantine, so they built these sketchbooks out of just like pieces of cardboard. And they've been mailing them around for like over a year now. And artists keep adding to all the pages and then mailing it to another artist. And there's no end goal here. The goal of this book is just to keep doing it. There's no show planned. There's no real reason to do it except for to connect and have fun while staying at home. So those are just a couple examples, but there's so many ways that you can use your home or use your time staying at home to pursue creative projects or just things that make you happy. It's been a hard year, and there's been a lot of discussion lately about if it's going to be a hard year ahead, if we're going to be going back into isolation or not. And all of that is really scary and can bring me to a really dark place. But something that I have found that has really helped me during this time has been allowing myself and giving myself permission to play and to spend time and energy doing things, even if those things do not check a box on a to-do list or add to my resume or promise some sort of success or money. If they are just fun, I have learned to say yes to those. And some of my favorite things now that I do have come from having no intention of them turning into anything. So if you have any ideas that bring you joy, but truly make no sense to do, I want you to give yourself permission to do those things as well. Maybe with your home or maybe while you're staying home, but either way, to follow your whims. Thank you.
That was awesome. That's what we're talking about, Pam.
Yay, Pam.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Look at all those hands coming in and around. We're seeing some claps. You know, there's a clap thing in the chat. Yeah, people are hitting that. It's all great. I think that Christy is making her way to you for this Q&A. And I'm just going to spotlight myself just so she can, you know, gracefully get into the position with your, you know, the pillows and the hearth. It's really wonderful. If you guys go ahead and drop some of those questions in the chat, you can also throw like a little hand raisey and I can call upon you and you can actually physically ask your question as well if you'd like. But we're looking for some good questions, and don't be shy. The first question, you know, is always the toughest, as they say.
I do have a couple of questions that came in earlier if we want to bring it back to Pam and I.
Well, I was enjoying. Okay.
What? Hello.
Hello, welcome back to the fireplace.
Welcome back to the fireplace. So for those of you who don't want to be on camera, you can just shoot your questions out and then I can just have a conversation with Pam here because she's just so lovely. So one of the questions that came up really early was about your opening. So how are people going to get there? Where is the gallery? I guess there's like other events going on in Nashville that weekend.
Oh, I'm sure. There's always things going on. So let's see. The show is on August 7th. It is at Red Arrow Gallery, which is right off of Gallatin. And pretty close to, if any of you went to the MoCan pop-up, it's pretty close to that area. And it's from 6 to 9, and it's free to come to, and you don't need a ticket or anything. And there's going to be drinkies, and
I was going to ask if there's wine.
there's
Will
gonna
there be wine?
And I've curated a playlist that I'm very excited about. And yeah, there's going to be 28 new pieces that I've been creating from the beginning of quarantine. So if you want to see what whims I was following in my artwork, this is definitely the show to come see.
That's wild. That's more than a piece a month. Like,
yeah,
20 pieces for a year and a half. That's wild. Thank you. You were very prolific. And also, in addition to drinkies and this gorgeous face, the stickers will be at that opening.
It's upside down.
Oh no!
you can put them whatever way
you can put them anyway. Follow that whim.
Mhm.
And I will also, in addition to the opening, these are going to get dropped at a couple places around Nashville, probably Walden Bar, the unofficial bar of Creative Mornings. But I'll put that on the Creative Mornings Instagram so you guys know where to get these little whims for all of you. Then another question that had come up was about for artists, like if they're wanting to participate in shows. I know you said Stay Home Gallery was booked out, but in general, how do you think other artists in Nashville can, like, you know, start participating more in that scene or get into shows and exhibitions and things like that?
Cool, great question. So I'll start with our gallery. We do still do virtual and in-person shows. So though the artist residency weeks are booked out through December of 2022, we still are doing open calls for art all the time. So our Instagram is @StayHomeGallery, and we're actually this weekend about to open 3 new free open calls for art. So there's going to be 3 virtual shows that are curated by our curatorial fellows. So they took a big immersive class with me and Kaylin, and they have curated shows after taking that class. And or they've curated, they've like done calls for art, and they're going to curate shows from the submissions. So those are all free to submit to. We're going to post about those this weekend. And then as far as, you know, artists in Nashville and you know, how do you get involved in the art scene here? That question used to be a lot easier to answer because my answer was like, go to things and get to know people and build relationships and friendships. And I know that that's harder to do now. While we've got this pocket of time, I definitely encourage doing that. But there's so much virtual stuff to show up to as well. And I think that that makes a big difference too. But my philosophy for, you know, breaking into scenes I want to be a part of has always been to start relationships first and then see where those things take you. Honestly, a lot like this talk about following whims. All of my best opportunities as an artist have come from building friendships first without expectations of what those friendships will give you. And so, you know, if you want to be further into the art community, then continue to make friends in the art community. That's like my only advice, is just to, you know, show up and support people and get to know them as people first.
Yeah, saying yes.
Yeah,
that's really that's where it's all at. All right, Jonathan or other Creative Mornings friends, do we have anything coming up in the chat? Anyone who wants?
Oh my goodness,
to raise a hand?
so much good stuff happening.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't. What's your like current mission statement? That was a common one that's come up. Current mission statement.
That's a really good one. So I'm still definitely following my whims. Like that is not stopped yet. So that is kind of me and my partner, like our combined one that we really help each other a lot with. Like if I'll start to bring up an idea and then I'll start to be like, but you know, that's kind of whatever, you know, he'll do for me. He'll be like, but is it a whim? Which is, you know, pretty, it's cheesy, but it really helps to be like, I think it is a whim, or to be like, nah, it's not. I'm not that excited about it. So I'm definitely still following that one. And then another one right now for me is to, I guess I have it as a concept, but not a very structured sentence. That could be a sticker, but I'm trying to make my choices based on what is best for me rather than what it will look like to others. So an example is that I mentioned during this talk that I started grad school during quarantine, and for like 9 months it was so fun, and I was just like doing it for fun, and I was like, I haven't written a paper in so long, this feels so good, and it's exercising parts of my mind. And the last few months it stopped being fun, and I have not enjoyed it anymore, and I want to stop doing it. But I've really struggled with this idea of like not wanting to quit because I told people that I was going. So I'm just taking some time off. I don't know if I'll go back or not, but I probably will when it starts being fun again. Mm-hmm. But it's really hard for me to not consider the opinions of everyone when I make choices. And I'm trying to really like teach myself to listen to what I need in the moment and what will bring me the most joy, rather than anything else. So that's kind of the mission for me right now.
I do think that's one of the best things that came out of this last year is people like being more okay with like checking in on themselves and like acknowledging what they need, because it's really hard. So you got to do everything you can to find those joy pockets and things like that.
Another kind of like lens I've been trying to look at all my choices through is through the lens of like child Pam. And something that I go through a lot, that I see a lot of my friends go through, is that something really exciting will happen and then you don't feel that excited about it. And something that really helps is to imagine yourself like as a child or a few years ago, and imagining like, wow, look at this thing, and thinking of how you would think of it when you were younger. And so that is like kind of another lens, is I've been checking in with like baby Pam a lot and seeing how she feels about different things, and it really helps. Is that weird?
No, not weird at all. I think that's really an important thing to do, because like, I don't know, it's the things you want to do when you're a kid is probably the stuff that you should be doing anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, playing pretend or making art or whatever's there, and then just figuring out how to keep doing that because it's what you liked before you worried about what people thought about what you liked.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we're also opening up questions for baby Pam in the chat as well. If you do have questions for baby Pam. Claire, did you have any questions from the chat you wanted to bring in?
Yeah, this kind of goes with some of what you were just talking about, Pam, but do you feel like your whims always come to you on a whim, no pun intended? Or do you feel like you sort of think about it? Like how much of it is based in your gut? I was thinking of this when you were just talking about school, like that's not feeling great anymore. So how much is based in your gut and how much do you let your brain get in the way or not?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think some of it is very fast, like the example of that I wanted to paint lots of walls in the house pink. I just was like, yes, and I will immediately. Thank you. But some of them are more like feelings that I know it's a whim because I can feel myself trying to push them down. I'm like, no, don't think about that. We don't need to think about that because it doesn't make sense, or it isn't productive for the day. It doesn't check a box on my to-do list. And so I've started to notice that in myself as a clue that I have a new whim I need to follow, is if I can really feel myself like pushing it down and being like, no, we don't have time for this thing, then I know I probably need to pay more attention to it.
That's awesome. I love that. It's a great point. We have a couple other good questions. Let's see. Oh, this one's good. What was one piece at the stay home that you were surprised fit within a home?
I asked that one, and you can take that either way of like, I fit a Volkswagen Bug in the living room, or if it was like there was some piece of art that just like fit perfectly to like a mantle or a nook or a cranny that you were like, ooh, that's a good.
Cool. I'm gonna give you this answer as a
Riddle?
preview of the show that I'm about to install in a few weeks. So we're about to have a new exhibition go up in August, and one of the pieces is a rug. And it's an artist that we have been representing this year. And she got divorced, and she has turned her wedding dress into a rug. And it's kind of representing like her feelings during her marriage of getting like stepped on and things like that. And it's going to be such a special piece inside of an actual home because it's going to be a rug. It's going to be on the ground. And we were asking her, like, do we need to put like, you know, something around it so people don't step on it? And she was like, no. And I mean, it's a white rug. And she's like, nope, people can use it. They can sit on it. They can step on it. And so I think while it would be beautiful in a traditional gallery, I think it's going to be really special in a home gallery that people actively stay in all the time and use the space, and they will step on it and sit on it. And so that's a piece that I'm like really excited to specifically be exhibiting in the home.
That's awesome.
Thanks for the question. It's very cool. Very curious to see that.
Yeah, we've got about 5 more minutes left for questions. So if you got any more, make sure to drop them in the chat right now. Next question and this is from Brian at Studio. Is the Stay Home Gallery being funded by grants or art sales, or is it self-funded?
That's a great question. We did get a grant early on, but it was awesome and very encouraging. But it was a small grant that we used to like build our website and purchase like web hosting for a year. So since then, we have been funded by different things we do. So we're not a nonprofit, and considering it for the future, but currently not a nonprofit. So there are different kinds of artist residencies. There are ones that are free. There are ones that pay you to come. And these are like really competitive artist residencies. And we are an artist residency that has a fee. So that fee covers the mortgage of the house, covers it being professionally cleaned, things like that. So we do ask people to pay to come, but we have scholarships in a ton of categories as well that bring that cost down. And you can come and stay as like just one person can come, or you can bring your whole family, or you can split the cost up with multiple artists. And there's 3 rooms in the residency. So we are paying for ourselves with that. And then we also get donations sometimes, especially from the people in Paris, Tennessee. And then every once in a while, we'll do a workshop that like has a fee, and people will pay to do a workshop with us or something like that.
Are those scholarships available on the Stay Home Gallery website? Or?
Yes, yeah, the scholarships are all listed on there. We've got scholarships for single mothers. We've got scholarships for anyone with a disability or chronic illness. We've got scholarships for LGBTQIA+. We've got scholarships for women of color. We've got scholarships based on income. So it's all a big sliding scale, how much you pay to come. But it's generally much less than if you were to, you know, go do a self-residency where you like got an Airbnb or something like that. It usually ends up being much, much less than that.
Very cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We've got one more question, our final question for the day. And Sonia would like to ask that directly. So Sonia, the floor is yours.
Hi. So you may have already addressed this, and so please be like, Sonia, you're not paying attention if you did. But when I am obsessed with this. I love a good residency, and but it's till 2022. So do you have opportunities for people to get to come out and like check it out, or do like openings because I know you said you're about to put up a whole new situation in the residency. Are there like special like weekends or specific opening times where we can pay to come and like walk around and have a glass of wine and experience it? Or is it something where you're like, I'm keeping kind of a sacredness to the residency and we're not going to have people just traipsing through? The only way you get to come in is if you do a workshop or you do a residency. Right. Give me details on how to get to Paris and hang out for even like 2 hours at this place. Thanks
okay.
so much.
I love it. And I guess I should have mentioned this as well. So I was saying that some residencies are really competitive. Ours is a non-competitive residency. So we do all of our bookings first come, first serve. So when we open them up, like we just booked July through December of 2022. When we open them up and people apply, and in order, I just go through and give people the opportunity to book. And we ended up booking those 6 months in like 24 hours. We also do keep a wait list. So if you're like, I don't want to wait, anytime there's like a cancellation or something, I send it out to the wait list to see if anyone wants to grab it. So you can email us to get on that wait list. But yeah, we'll open up January through July of 2023, which is like a number that doesn't exist. We'll open those up at the end of this year. But we aren't currently doing openings. A lot of our entire way that we've created this is like with quarantine in mind. However, we always leave like 24 hours in between each guest. And that's the time where the home gets cleaned, and also just kind of like to give some air and like air it out and like have some space between people coming. And so that happens on Sundays. And so anyone that has ever asked like, can I come see the exhibition, or can I come look at this space? You don't have to pay to come, but you can come on Sundays. Just like make an appointment, and you can come on Sundays and see the exhibition and see the space and say hi to the chickens. There's 2 chickens that are very cute, and they follow the artists around wherever they go. So yes, please, like if you want to come and spend a day in Paris, come on a Sunday and let me know first. And you can see the Eiffel Tower there. It's so cute. I don't know if you've never been to Paris, Tennessee, there is a little Eiffel Tower. It's amazing. And it's really sweet. It's also the home of the world's largest fish fry.
Like they're frying the largest fish, or the most people come to eat the fish?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Actually.
You have to go to find out.
Yeah. So there's your teaser.
An Eiffel Tower and the potential of fried fish.
And you can tell people you're going to Paris this weekend.
Yes. A weekend in Paris.
Yeah. Okay, I'm coming. I'm making a date with you, Pam. I'm so excited to come and check this place out. Cool. And the Eiffel Tower is the best.
And how far away is Paris, Pam?
It's like 2 hours from Nashville.
Okay.
So 2 hours from Nashville, 2 hours from Memphis. So it's a good little meet point.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's all the time we have. Thank you for letting us be in your home today, Pam, and for inspiring everyone so much with all the incredible things you're doing, and hopefully letting people bring more play into their lives and listening to like all those guts that are like helping us hopefully do more fun stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Look at your new host.
Hey.
Me. So thanks everyone for being here this morning and for going through the wild ride that was screen share, not screen share, as I get better at this. And
You crushed it.
I hope you're starting your day full of good energy and following your dreams.
Bye, everybody. Enjoy your weekend.